Alright traders, welcome back to another video, and this video may just be one of the most important videos I'm ever going to make on Bitcoin, right? So you read the title. Yes, I'm considering going all in on Bitcoin. Right now we have a lot of price action going on, and it's really because we have a lot of things coming out, specifically with Elon Musk. So we have some crazy fundamentals, but we also have some crazy bullish technicals, and that's why I'm considering going all in for about the next 1 or 2 years on Bitcoin. As always, if you appreciate this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and it shows that you appreciate this kind of content. Also, make sure to join our free Discord, link in the description down below. And if you want 2 free stocks and trade cryptocurrencies, you can go ahead and open an account with Webull, link in the description also down below. Okay, so let's get into some of the fundamentals first, as we usually do, and then we'll go into the technicals. So obviously, cryptos are taking quite a nosedive right now. Pretty much everything I see here is down at least 5% across the board. Bitcoin is down at 6%, and there is some good reasoning to it. So let's take a look first at Elon Musk's tweet here, if you can see that. Okay, so let's take a look at what Elon Musk just tweeted a couple hours ago. Okay, so he said, Bitcoin is highly centralized with supermajority controlled by a handful of big mining, aka hashing companies. A single coal mine in Xinjiang flooded, almost killing miners, and Bitcoin hash rate dropped 35%. Sound decentralized to you. I just realized I pronounced that wrong. That's Xinjiang. Not too good at pronouncing these kind of words. But yeah, so that is quite a bit of a problem, right? So if we have a single coal mine get flooded and Bitcoin hashing rates drop 35%, yeah, obviously that is not the greatest sign of things. So let's actually take a look at this, right? So how much Bitcoin comes from directly coal? A flooded mine in China just spotlighted the issue. Okay, and there are some pretty crazy statistics going on here. The blackout of that coal mine halted no less than 1/3 of all Bitcoin's global computing power. Okay, so 1/3 of all of Bitcoin's global computing power was taken out by a single coal mine becoming flooded. So that is a huge problem for Bitcoin, and that is why we are seeing this sort of drop coming over here, because it doesn't seem like Bitcoin may be as centralized as we once thought. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a fundamentals expert. Maybe Elon's wrong. Maybe all this information is wrong. But this is the information that we have currently for Bitcoin, and we can only assume that this is what's causing Bitcoin to drop. Do I think Bitcoin is going away anytime soon? No. Do I think in the short term it may have some time to go before we see another massive bull run? Possibly, right? Because this is a massive issue that's going to have to be dealt with before any more bullish sentiment. But with that being said, we're going to now take it back to our roots, and we're just going to do some technical analysis, and that is what we are going to base our decisions off of. And we do have some crazy technical analysis. I actually completely cleaned my chart out from any drawings so that we can do it from scratch, so you can see exactly how we actually get to this conclusion. So we're going to start on the weekly time frame on Bitcoin, right? And what we usually do on something like this, let's go to the logarithmic chart. Okay, usually what we do when we have an uptrend like this, right? Because we have a higher high that was just formed, and then we have, well, we don't have a higher low just yet, but you can see that we're in Bitcoin pretty much since its inception, or not since its inception, but since this chart back in 2015 has really only had two cycles, right? It's had a massive move higher, a little bit of a consolidation period, basically the higher low, and then another massive move higher. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go from the most recent low to high with our Fibonacci Retracement tool like this, and then we're going to bring that back to a linear scale. Okay, so this is now on the weekly time frame, some major key levels for Bitcoin, and we'll see that one major key level right now is that $41,345 mark, because that is the most recent swing high, basically the most recent bull run's 382 Fibonacci retracement. And all that means is that we've retraced 38% back down to this low all the way down here. Okay, so that is usually a massive level of support, especially in a strong uptrend. Usually in strong uptrends, we don't see anything further than a 50% retracement. Usually we end up Usually we end up bottoming out between that 382 and the 50. So on the weekly time frame, this is a massive zone for Bitcoin. All right. So usually that's how we do things. We start from the higher time frames. Now let me just check these EMAs or these moving averages. No. Okay. Nothing there. Okay. So now we're going to drop down to the daily time frame. What we're going to see on the daily time frame is that we really have one solid move, or we have a couple moves higher, right? We have this move higher, a pullback, and then really in reality that next move higher, right? Just like we just saw on the weekly time frame, it's kind of a similar situation. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a Fibonacci retracement tool. Again, we're going to go from low to high. Okay, now this is on a smaller time frame, and we'll see that we are literally right next to a 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. So I'm going to mark that out now. So that's going to look like this. Okay, this 61.8 is usually they called it the golden ratio, right? If you know anything about Fibonacci retracements, if you don't, make sure to join that free Discord, links in the description down below. Okay, 61.8 is one of the strongest Fibonacci levels, and usually it is pretty well respected. So it's going to be a major level of support. Okay, so now we have that. What number is that 61.8? It's at 42,573. Then, okay, we have what we always love to trade so much and what we use to pretty much predict Cardano's move higher. Okay, in this case, we used it to predict Bitcoin's move lower. If you were in the live stream, you're already familiar with this. But then we have an ABCD pattern. Okay, so we have A, B, C, and then the D point is we're about to find out what the D point is. All right, so what we do for an ABCD pattern is we take a move that the most recent move. Okay, so in Bitcoin's instance right now, the most recent move technically would be this one, but for the ABCD pattern, you use the previous move. Okay, it can be a little confusing the way that I'm saying it, but basically you take the previous move, you copy and paste it forward. I'm sure you've seen this before if you're subscribed. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe. All right, and then we just project it forward. Okay, and that gives us this ABCD pattern, which I'm going to draw out so we can actually have the labels. Okay, we have A, B, C, D, and all this represents is an equivalent move lower. And usually what ends up happening is that this D point ends up being a massive level of support because first of all, it's a bullish pattern. Sometimes you have a bearish ABCD pattern. In this case, it's a bullish pattern. Okay, because it's an equivalent move lower, and the market likes to move in symmetrical ways and in equivalent moves higher and lower. So usually when it completes that equivalent move higher or lower, it becomes a level of support or resistance and turns around. Okay, so that gives us a number of right around 41,816. So I'm going to mark that out. Okay, and I'm actually going to get rid of this zone right here because it's not too relevant. What is more relevant to us is that weekly 382. So we've already marked out that weekly 382, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, now we're going to go back down to the daily time frame. So now what are you noticing? You notice that all of these major key levels are starting to line up in one general area, and we are literally about to get to that major area, and it is probably one of the strongest levels of support on Bitcoin that I've ever seen to date. Okay, so it is pretty important. It's a shame that it's coming around right when some massive bad fundamentals are coming out, but it could just be a great buying opportunity. Even though it has some bad fundamentals, you know, maybe it's just bringing the price down for us so we can buy more Bitcoin, right? So now what we're gonna do, right? Well, one last thing, okay? I've really been ranting this one, but we also have some major structural support, right? Why? We have this previous high right in here and this previous low right in there. If you don't know how this works, right? When in trading, when you break through a high, that's ugly. When you break through a high, usually that high is retested and it becomes support, and then you continue higher. And then obviously with lows, usually lows can become support because you know, we have these double bottom, double tops scenarios. Okay, that's very basic stuff. I'm not going to do too much of that in this video. Okay, but we have those two major levels as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to make all of these levels pretty much come together by making it one big zone. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Okay, and now this zone covers pretty much every single critical level on Bitcoin, and like I said, I mean, I can't stress this enough. This is probably one of the strongest levels of support I've ever seen come on to come across Bitcoin. Okay, and I'm definitely going to be buying in this area here. Okay, so the numbers are, if you want to know, the numbers are 43,000, pretty much 43,000 even, and then 40,700. Okay, so within this range right in here, and I'm actually going to get rid of these lines now that we have the zone. I do want to extend it a little bit. Okay, so this zone right here, we're going to mark it out. Major support. Okay, so that is where I'm going to be buying Bitcoin, and probably going to be buying very heavily, okay? Because this has massive potential. Now, obviously, if we blow through it, we might want to reconsider. But for right now, this is the strongest level in Bitcoin, right around 43,000 and 40,700. Okay, targets. Now, if we want to talk about targets, what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to the weekly time frame, and we're going to do the logarithmic scale. Okay, and guess what? We're going to have to do an ABCD pattern from the same levels that we used to get the weekly Fibonacci retracements. Okay, so this is basically, we're projecting an equivalent move higher now because it would be the third cycle, right? It would be the third bull run. We had the 2018 bull run, then we have the 2020 bull run, and then who knows, the 2021 bull run. Okay, and the way that we do that is just by projecting this forward from where we think the low of Bitcoin is going to be. Okay, and I'm actually going to go back to that log scale. Okay, and we think the low of Bitcoin is going to be right around, if we take this, right around 43,000 we said. So in this general area right around here. Okay, now we mark that level out, and that brings us to $104,000 a coin. Okay, and while that sounds crazy, it's not. Okay, I mean, if you look at the previous highs here in the 2018 bull run, nobody could have guessed that we would have reached $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a coin. Okay, so $100,000 a coin is really not that crazy of an idea. Let's go back down to the daily time frame. There's our target right there, $104,000. Okay, buying in this $43,000 range all the way to 104,000 is a 142% return on investment. So that is my plan for buying Bitcoin. I don't think it gets much better than that. If we blow through it, I would be very surprised, but I'll post an update video, so make sure you smash that like button and subscribe so you stay up to date with all these videos. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of breath after all of that. I think that was quite a lot of talking. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, join the Discord, and if you want 2 free stocks with Webull, check the link out in the description down below. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.